So this is page 2 of the first note, unit conversions. We're sort of looking at some applications of how we can use these now. The first example here, we have a bunch of garden hose, 55 reels in fact. Each reel has 132 meters of hose. We want to figure out how many kilometers that is. So we might want to start off by figuring out how many meters we have. The total meters would be the number of hoses we have, 55 of them, times 132 meters each, which gives us a total of 7,260 meters. The question asks us for that in kilometers. So if we refer back to that chart, meters to kilometers, and we notice that's 3 steps up, which means I need to divide my 7,260 by 1, 2, 3 zeros, and we end up with 7.26 kilometers. If you want to try the next example yourself, feel free. Otherwise, you can pause the video. Otherwise, keep on watching. The second example here, we're talking about grams of peppermint extract used to flavor some sweets. Okay, our drum has 1,500 kilograms of extract. Each sweet has 1.1 grams, and we need to figure out how many sweets we can use, how many sweets you can make. We need a consistent unit here, so the easiest way to start this might be by turning our kilograms into grams. Okay, kilograms to grams, that's moving from a large unit to a small one, so we're going to multiply. That's 3 steps again, so multiplying by 1,000, so 1,500 times 1,000 will give us 1,500,000 grams, or 1.5 million grams. To figure out a number of sweets, we can take the amount of extract that we have, which is our 1.5 million, and divide that by the amount of extract we need per sweet. Okay, so this is our grams, and we use 0.1 grams per sweet. If we divide that out, we end up with 15 million sweets. And that's sort of how we can use these conversions in the metric system. The next part of the lesson is going to go through some conversion between metric and imperial. Metric is what we use here in Canada and many other places around the world. Other places use other systems. The United States, for example, uses the imperial system, though with some modifications. Here, we kind of need to know some conversion factors. So I've given you a table which has some consistent ones. We're going to use these ones in today's lesson. If we come across things we're not so sure about, we could always look up a conversion factor on the internet. And there's lots of conversion calculators there too. We're just going to learn where the math comes from today. Okay, the last example on the second page, we want to convert pounds to kilograms. So the way we start this off is write down what we know. We know 147 pounds is going to go with a certain amount of kilograms. I don't know the x, that's the part I need to find. From my table though, I know that for every kilogram I have, it's worth 2.2026 pounds, in the far right part of the table there. So I can write down the exact same ratio, the known ratio, with the thing that I want to find, and we can solve this. One thing to be careful about here, that you have pounds both on top, and you have kilograms both on the bottom, so that way you have the same units, top and bottom. It makes it easier to solve. And by putting in the unit to measure, you can make sure that that happens. To solve these, we're going to cross multiply. So x times 2.2026 will give us 2.2026x. And when we cross multiply 147 with 1, we end up with 147. Now we haven't solved this yet because I don't know what x is. To find the x, I need to divide out the 2.2026 part. And those two things will cancel each other out, of course. And I'll be left with an x here. But if I divide the left side by 2.2026, I need to do the same thing to the right. 2026. And when I divide that out, I end up with 66.74 kilograms. If you want to try the second one yourself, go for it. Otherwise, I will take it up. Okay, so I'm looking at the ratio of 30 fluid ounces, x milliliters. I know from my table that 1 fluid ounce is the same as 29 0.574 milliliters. Again, we want to cross multiply here. 1 times x. It's going to work out nicely for us. That's just x. And 30 times 29.54 comes out to 887.22. And because x is already by itself, we're done. That's our number of milliliters. And that takes us through page 2.